Hello explorers and welcome to another video. Today we are going to talk about a 6 months project of building a server. And this is one of those, what were I thinking? So let's jump into the description of what I actually wanted to build in the system. I have a little project here that I want to go into. And it mainly concerns this one, which is a computer with rabbit ears and also has, so this is a rack mounted server case. Peel off the plastic here. And I just bought this one. So this was the start. I figured out that I needed one of these and I wanted to put something in it. And first I thought, okay, I want good cooling in it. So I bought a couple of extra fan holders. So these comes from the same company that could hold 40 millimeters fans inside of this cage. And so I bought 2 of those in order to hold the fans. So that was the first thing that I thought, okay, I can put that in, and then I can buy some kind of motherboard, some kind of fan, and so on, and processor and memory and everything. So moreover, with this case, there is probably stuff inside of it, but moreover, there comes a power cord and some bags with screws. So we have screws for extra cards. We have screws for the motherboard, so we can actually put stuff in there. And we have rack mounting screws. And some smaller screws for hard drives, I believe. So, and then they had some kind of tie here, some extra screws for smaller drives, and small feet that you could put on, and a Supermicro logo if I want to use that. So there is a bunch of small things that comes with this case. And this case is, let's see here, if I have any description on it. There isn't anything on the outside that tells us what kind of case this is. So I guess I need to fetch something to open it. But before I do that, I actually had a friend, and I bought 2 Nokia fans that I will put into there. So 40 millimeters Nokia, so I can have, and they are very silent. And that was the main focus there. And then my friend said, well, I have a motherboard. You can have it if you want. So I just got a box with a motherboard that he just had in a shelf at home. So it's already done. It already have cooling, it already have memory. It's only 8 gigabytes of memory, so I probably want to upgrade that. I bought a green 256 megabytes drive here to put it in. And it's already a quad-core processor here. So this is a Ryzen 3. And the specs for that is 6 megabytes of cache, unlocked, M4 socket. I think it said quad core somewhere. AM4. And it's with graphics as well. Very important. So I could use the graphics output here. And this motherboard already have HDMI and this DVI output. And I actually have a monitor for DVI. So I could use that. So that's nice. I got a pretty good deal there, pretty much for free. So my initial thought was to put some kind of thing that I could find on Alibaba or somewhere, just buy another card and put it in here. But it seems that I already have that figured out, if this works. We don't know. It just were in a shelf, so we don't really know if it works. So I need to open this up as well to see what's inside here. So I'm gonna fetch a screwdriver. So I got it my favorite screwdriver. There should be some screws on the side here. And wonder if... No, I don't need to take out the rabbit ears. Those could be put in. And with this motherboard, I can't really have the lid on anyway. So I guess I need to remove it and then keep it and the screws until I can actually put it on again. So one of the things that I want to look into, I haven't done that yet, is another processor cooling solution. So there should be those that you can use inside of this kind of chassis and put just as a static cooling without any fans, because the fans I already have. Let's see, is it? Oh, there is a screw in the on this side as well. So 5 screws in order to open this one up. There we go. So it's opened. So what do we have here? We have silica gel. We have a bunch of mustard cables and something for the AIO. AIO. So this is for the different lamps and so on. So this is a default cable. I'm not sure if that is actually going to work with this motherboard. I'm not sure if those are compatible. In this mustard setup here, we have a couple of different motherboard. We have the motherboard. What is this? 20 pins and extra 4, a couple of hard drive, and so on. So there isn't that much to this. And this Supermicro PSU is only 200 watts, I believe. So it's not that high voltage. So it might not be possible to run too much here. And there is the possibility to put 2 HDs over here, 2.5 or 3.5 inch in these kind of mounts over here. So the cable for the HDs are there. Okay. This is an interesting layout. And the motherboard should go over here, I guess. And then it already has outputs on this side. So I should probably be able to remove that in order to put my own shield there. Because there is a bunch of screws for that. If we take this motherboard and see the size of it, see if it fits at all. It would be strange if it doesn't. So let's see. Yeah. So that should go just fine in here. We just can remove all the power cables. Yeah. So it fits nicely there. And let's pick up some drives here to check those out as well. So I want the large ones, 3.5 inch drives. So those should be mounted over here then, some way. Not sure how they thought that would go. Okay, so there is something missing here. There should be a sled where I can put those. So maybe that is something that I need to buy in order to use this. But I should at least be able to mount this motherboard there. So it has 6 mounting points. So with those 2, that one, is that also available? Those 2. And then we have one that is a little bit offset, so that is not available. No, it's here. It's offset there, of course. And then we have these 3. So mounting the motherboard should be possible without that much hassle. After I'd gone through all the parts and tried to build it, I realized that I was missing a bunch of stuff. I needed to have better power cables. I didn't need to have different power cables and a pin header and so on. A bunch of different things I needed to add in order to actually build a system of this. So I ordered a bunch of stuff. It took a long while to get it. So 3 months later, I could start building the system with the new cables and so on. So let's look at how it actually went. Okay, so the server is now built. So I put the motherboard in here that I got for free. So that was really cheap. The fans, they had a fan assembly that I could put in here, but that was for these kind of server fans, so I couldn't really use those. But Noksha has these kind of plastic rivet things that I just strapped into the side here, so probably that will work to give it some extra. And then we have this motherboard with a giant heatsink and fan that is a bit overkill for this one new chassis, so I can't close it. And I couldn't put any drives over here because they won't fit. So this is not a Mini ITX board, of course, which this chassis is built for. And it's not really having the right connections. You see over here, the front side panel, front panel connector have a lot more to it than what the motherboard actually had, but it fits. And it's the right connectors, so hopefully all of the leads are correct. That would not give off the blue smoke, it will just not start, so that it should be fine, I guess. And then we have this contraption here. So I actually got a power cord that is an extra length, and you see that I'm missing 4 connectors on the end here. And I was looking that up, and they said, yeah, that's just fine, you will not get enough to drive the CPU fast, because these are extra 12 volts, but it should be fine, it should start. I don't know, so that's a try. And then we have over here, I'm not sure if we can actually see it, but you have this 4-pin connector that goes down here. Let's see if I can get the other cables away. So you have a 4-pin connector down here, and that goes into this contraption up here with 4 pins. So I bought this kind of thing from the YI mod from Thailand. So I hope that they did a correct connector over here, or else we might have some blue smoke. So there is a lot of potential for disaster here. But as this motherboard is free and I don't really care about it, I will replace it at some point. If I get it to work, that is just great. If I don't, well, that's fine. And I actually brought out this old VGA cable, but we had at least DVI on this one, so that's good. So let's see here if I put in some power into this one. So now we actually have power in the machine. Let's see if we push the button over here. Nothing happens. Yeah, I was afraid about that. Okay, so let's try it again. The front panel connector didn't work at all. That we have removed. And this cable didn't work at all either. But actually, I got this connector in there, where I used 4 of the leads. So hopefully this will work. And I also figured out which the power pins are. So these 2 are the power pins. So I can short the board and get it running. So let's see if we can get an image. I really hate this screen. It's so stupid. It goes into power save mode directly and... Oh, it actually turned on. I got a server. I got a server. So I'm not really sure what mod UI is actually did here. So as you see, you have this 4-pin connector over here, and then they have put in the middle pair and the outer pair. So instead of taking one side of these connectors, they have taken 2 leads from one side and 2 leads from the other side, which I think is a bit weird. Might work, but it didn't work for me. So if I remove this and just used 4 on the one side here, I actually got a booted server. So this is one, let's see, it's an A320MA Pro board, and I got a 200 gigabyte NVMe there, oh no, M2 SSD in here now. So I should be able to put something in this computer and actually use it. This is gonna be interesting. I'm gonna rack mount this, but I'm not gonna run with this board, of course, because yeah, I need to turn it on using a screwdriver. That's not the best way of doing it. And I also can't fit any hard drives here. So, of course, I need to have a different solution. But I think it's interesting that I got this board to work, even though I have this sketchy solution over here. We're not using all the leads. I never thought that just skipping 12 volt in that end is fine, and then adding just 4 of the leads in this end, and it still boots. It still works. It's still a computer. So I'm gonna put an operating system on this now and start using it. See you later. So after that, I had a running system. It was not great. They couldn't actually put the lid on or anything, but I had something that was running. But I realized that I can't use this. I can't put any hard drives into it. So I needed to find a different solution. And I had looked at different YouTubers, and they had talked about AliExpress computers, and I really wanted to try one of those motherboards out with a processor. So I went out and found this beautiful board. So this is an AliExpress board with an LGA 2011 socket with, not a powerful CPU at all, but it requires 500 watts in order to run. And my system only delivers 200, so it wouldn't work. But I didn't know that at this point. So what I did was I wanted to find a cooling solution for this board that was static. So I didn't have any fans or anything like that. So I went out and bought a 220 LGA 2011 cooler. And this cooler arrived, and as you see, this is not square. And this is a square socket. So it doesn't fit, which was very annoying. So, of course, there is 2 different kinds of heatsinks. So I went out and got a square heatsink. And then I tried to put it on. And that didn't go well at all, because in the bottom row here, there is capacitors behind the CPU. And they are actually interfering with the heatsink. So what I did after that, now I have bought heat sinks for as much as the motherboard. The motherboard was about $100. And then one heatsink, $50, another heatsink, $50. And then I went out and bought a Dremel to pull down this side here and remove it so I can actually get it on the board. Another $50. And after that, I couldn't get it to boot because, of course, it needed more power than I could actually deliver in my box. So after that, I left the project for 3 more months. I had Christmas break and was thinking about different things because I was so fed up with this project at that point. But after Christmas and so on, I realized that I really want to do something with this case. So I went out looking again and I found this ASRock board. Really cool one. ITX. It fits in, it's the right size, J3455, and it takes like 35 to 75 watts. So it was a great fit. So let's move over to the build video when I actually put this together. And I'm gonna look into adding something to this case that I bought months ago that I really want to get into my rack. But it has this power supply here, which is just 200 watts. So it can't be a hungry kind of CPU combination. It needs to be something that is efficient. So I got a new package today. So I'm gonna look into this. This should be CPU and a motherboard that should be around 35 watts in normal operation. So that should be just fine. See here that I already got some scuffs and bruises on this in shipping. So hopefully nothing is broken. They have actually said that this CPU has very, very thin pins. So there is a risk of actually breaking the pins on the motherboard if I'm not careful during installation. But I thought that this was a motherboard CPU combination with the heatsink and everything installed. So I'm not really sure how to look into that, if it actually is or not. So let's open this up and see what's in the box. So it's totally new to me. I haven't seen anything here. I'm very excited. I know what I ordered, of course, but I haven't opened this box. And finding the strips to actually opening this is a little bit challenging. Get up on the side here. Let's see. Oh, and I bought some RAM, of course, because that was not a part of it. So RAM, rip jars, should be 2 sticks of 8. So that's that. And then we have a J3455 ITX. So it should be a super small one. Should be an ASRock. Very nice. Stable and reliable, super alloy motherboard. So let's see here. We have manual with a disk for installation. We got that. We also have a tiny screw here. Could that be for M.2? I hope so. I have a couple of M.2 discs, and I also have this extra card here where I have an M.2 on it for PCI that I could try. I also have this graphics card that I bought just for if it doesn't have onboard graphics, I could try stuff out there. We got an extra cable for SATA discs, and here we go. This is the small little motherboard, and it seems to be fully assembled. So I maybe shouldn't have been that scared about it. And another thing here was the rip jaws also needed to be in a different form factor. I haven't seen this form factor actually. So this is SODIMS in 1866, and it should be compatible with this motherboard. And we have a Wi-Fi M.2 over here, and I don't see anything here. And there were no pictures of the back of the board, but as you see here, it's totally black, so there is nothing on the back of the board, so no go there. So I guess that if I want to install Wi-Fi, I could do that, of course, but there is no M.2. But there is 4 SATA drives, so I could install a small SATA drive. I would like to have 2 spinning disks in this system for Ceph, but I could use 1 smaller drive as well for the operating system. I have one in mind for that. So let's see here if I can open this memory up here. J-Skills, Ripyas. Ah, the packaging of these. Not sure if they glued them in. I hope not. So let's pull these down. See if this fits. I hope that they would have told me if it wasn't compatible. It seems to be perfect. So it's a bit annoying that I have gone through so much. Oh, this. Need to really pull them in order to get them out. It's a little bit annoying that I have tried with 2 other motherboards to get this system up and running already. I haven't spent that much money on it. It's about $100 each, and I spent another 100 on this card. So there isn't that much of an investment in it, but I would like this system to be up and running rather than being in a box, of course. So there we go. Now everything is installed here. Let's see what we have in I/O. We have 1 HDMI, we have normal DVI, and also VGA. So that seems fine. Maybe we should take the motherboard box and pop it up for a test run. That. So I could test it here. Should have an extra, so I can use one of my monitors here. Should be able to pull this one over here. So I have that one. Then I need to use the power supply of this box here, of course, so I know that this works. So let's see. What's the best way of putting this? This way, I guess. And we also have, let's see here, front I/O, HD audio. We have over here. So this header over here is HD audio. We have 2 COM ports here. I really like motherboards where they actually type on the motherboard what is expected. So we have USB there. Very small. Let's see if I can find. I put my phone away and now I can't find it. Where did I put it? Yeah, there, of course. Flashlight. See here. Yeah, so there you said HD LED. power button is over there. Great. So then I know at least where the power button is. And I have this breakout cable here with a lot of different parts to it. That should not be something that I just can put on there. So I need to use that splitter. And then I have a couple of more SATA things here. So let's put the board over here. Let's see if it aligns with the already screwed in mounting holes. It does. So I had an ITX card already in here before, so it should be the right size for me. Let's see here, pop it up there. Of course the power cable will be a little bit short. I expected that. So I have bought this one. This is a little bit of a longer cable, and the one that comes from the power supply is just 20, and the motherboard expects 24. So perhaps I can prop it up with extra from the other cable here to get it full. Maybe. No, I don't want to force it in there. It should be fine. There we go. Actually put it down there. So there we go. And we should have some display. And I also want to use a USB. Guess there is one here somewhere. Yes. And I got it in the first time. I didn't do it upside down. So it could be done. I have a power cable, and now I just need to figure out the front header as well, so I can actually turn it on. It's power LED. Let's just do the power button. Fan header, HD LED, power LED, power switch. There we go. The power switch should be those two there. So that should be all of it. So if we put some power in here, we got some fan. And my monitor switched around a bit. Let's see here. If I turn the power on and it switch back again, see if I get something on the screen. Seems like I at least gave it the power instruction. So hopefully we will get something on the screen. Yes! Haha! A UEFI BIOS. Defaults have been loaded. Let's go into the setup. Can't really show this well enough, but I get into to the setup. It says that I have 16 gigabytes of RAM and dual channel memory, 2 memory sticks, the ones that I expect. It's an Intel Celeron J3455, 1.5 gigahertz power speed. So this looks awesome. Nice. Yeah. So now I should just be able to turn it off. So nice when you have stuff that just works. Now we can pull out the power again and take the cables out and wait for a while for the actual power to leave the card before I do more operations here. I wonder if I want to try some stuff. The PCI card here is not compatible with this interface here, so that is a no-go. I guess the same goes for the graphics card, because that was a short slot, not a full length slot, as I expected it to be. But it doesn't really matter. How do I open this? I have had it opened. Oh my god. Yeah, it's even longer. So this is a full-length graphics card. So that's a no-go. But I didn't expect to use it anyway. So, first things first, we have tried, it works. So now I need to pull everything off and start building the actual system. We have a working system. Now we need to put it inside of the box and get everything up and aligned. And move that over there again. So let's see here. This was the motherboard shield, right? See here. Yes. Let's break this one open then and see if it fits. Of course, it's very much too large. So one new case with a shield, just forget it. I wonder if there is like these default sizes and then nobody builds a shield that works for one new case. Or this Supermicro case is just not built for that kind of use case, perhaps. That's also possible, of course. Let's see here if I can get it under there. I think all the screw holes align now. Put in some screws. There we go. Should also be able to find a couple of fan headers so I can drive these Noctua fans. Would be great. So I get some extra air in the case later on. Let's see. So it should just be a 4-pin header. We have a 3-pin header here. Do we have any 4 pins anywhere? 3-pin, 3-pin, 3-pin. So we don't have any with a fan controller. That's a bit sad. I guess I could put this 4-pin header into a 3-pin header as well. So I wonder where's the best position here. None of them are clearly marked. Chassis fan, that sounds very promising. So this should be the chassis fan then. There we go. See if I can pull these cables around a bit here. And it should have hard drives over here. So let's fetch the hard drive. Here. So this one might be a drive I will use as system drive later on. And then we have one of these drives. Probably not the one that I will use for this. But I will just want to look at placement here. I have a couple of these just laying around. So those would be mounted like this. Then this one on top with double-sided tape, something like that. Could fit. Not the best solution. These should be possible to screw in, because there are holes in the chassis here. So, but that is for later. I haven't bought any drives for this yet. That is a separate topic for another day. And then we have power for one drive here. We have power for another drive. And then we have Molex as well. So we need to find one of those kind of cables as well. This one I will not use. So can I hide that a bit? This one I need to route over here. And should we put in like that, perhaps? No, it should be put in like that, I guess. So the good thing with power cable is that they can only go one way. The sad part with this cable is that it's very long, which makes things much harder. So I wonder if I pull this off and just try to put in the short one. Maybe I can get, yeah, that should work as well. Then I can hide this cable a little bit better. Put this cable over here. That should be able to just disappear into the case. And then I need to install this one as well. So let's put some power into this one. So power should be in this orientation. So it goes up, I guess. And then I need one of those. Let's pull my red one here. And do we have any numbers? We have SATA 3. Light. May there be light. SATA 3.1. 3A1. 1. SATA 3A2. Okay. That was interesting. A2, 1, A1. Let's put it into 1. See if that works for us. For now. There we go. I was wondering first if it didn't fit, but that would be very strange indeed. There we go. So now I have a drive. Should be able to hide that. Did I have a shorter cable, perhaps? No. Everything seems to be pretty much the same length here. Didn't have a cable that had a kink. Oh yeah, I had this one. This might be even better. But then it could be going on top of that. Now, let's go for this now. It will work. So let's see now. Review. I have not done the front head connections yet. Maybe I should look in this in order to see the layout for that easily. Must be easier to read it from in here. 8-pin USB, system panel, power LED, power button with 3 connections to this one. Let's see here. I guess there then. So I have a reset switch. I need to figure out if it's the right header. Yeah. So the power LED is a no-go. And then we have a NIC LED. We have a power switch that we should put there. And those two. So we could have a NIC switch if we want. And we have a power fail. I'm not sure what that is. If that is a LED. HD LED. Do we have one of those? Yes. We have one on the other side here. So the HD LED I can put in at least so we can see if it works. We have an OH LED. What we can use? Much better if this is on the bottom. So I can just push these cables down. I have more space over here now, but then when the hard drive goes in, I'm not sure where I'm going to put all these cables. That is a later problem. A problem for later me. Not future me need to handle that thing. Let's see. There we go. So now, if I put it over in this direction instead, these cables should still reach pretty well. But I want to see the LEDs as well, so that's why I'm putting it over here. So I can see that I get some response. Put that down. I can put this down. Get some more space here. Static bag over here for this one. There we go. And the graphics card and everything else. Now I should be able to use a little bit more of my bench here. There we go. Now everything should be plugged in here. We have the power cable, which was a bit longer if I remember correctly. Yes, so I can route it over here. Is there anything else I need to plug in before I go on ahead here? No? So let's see if I can figure out or they are not loud fans, so that is just fine. Easy driver installer. Instant flash. USB configuration, storage configuration. SATA controller is enabled. Hard disk smart is enabled. Yeah, and it found Toshiba in port SATA 3 port 1, and then you have SATA port 3 port 2, and then A1 and A2. So it is in the top of the list. So at least it have found the drive, so that sounds good. Ah. So then I should be able to figure out where my Ubuntu drive is. So I don't think that talking more about this while I do an Ubuntu install and everything is that fun to watch, because I'm not able to show the screen in a good way. So I will do an install here, and then I will get back to you. And I will put on the lid and put it into the rack as well. And then we will log into it and see that it actually works. That's gonna be fun. So I will be back for that. So now I have a running system. Let's switch over to my screen here. And here we have the running system. I installed Debian as I have on all my nodes. This is node 8 in my Ceph cluster. And in the SBin I have now installed LM sensors. And this is a really nice one which has a sensor detect. And if you run that command, you will get a bunch of different questions about what kind of sensors you have in your system. And I was looking for temperature sensors in most cases, but it asks you for probing this port,
And it also says that this probing is safe, this you might not want to do, and so on. So I went through that and got the sensors up and running. So now I can type sensors and get the actual temperature of all my system. Currently we have 27 Celsius in the system, APC. And on the package of the CPU, we have 28, and then the different cores have 25, 24, 25, 25. And that is just fine. I don't have any load on the system at the moment. I haven't stress tested it, but then again, it's going to be a Ceph node with just a couple of drives in it, so it will be more memory intensive than CPU intensive. But I might run some workloads on it later on, and I will check the temps then to see that I don't exceed any temperature that is unhealthy for the system. So this was my 6 months project with building a server. It could have been much less painful if I just did my research. So I learned a lot about buying computer parts and actually putting them in, reading about stuff before you actually buy it. But at least I learned a lot. I had a lot of fun during the process, and I hope that you found this interesting. I hope that you learned something today. If you have any comments or suggestions, leave those in the comment section down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. And I really hope to see you in the next video.